Hi, it's Lydia Amanda for Portrait Creatives. This episode is all about how to use those custom brushes we handcrafted to create special effects for portraits. This is the last episode of this mini-series. If you haven't watched the previous two videos, I will leave the link in the description so you were able to watch them and to follow along all the process and get to know how we can create special effects for portraits. This is a beautiful photo of Michelle. I'm going to use this image to demonstrate to you how we can use the custom brush we just made and created in Photoshop. They are just some broken tea leaves. How we're going to use it as a particle to apply it to this image and create the effect with dispersion or disintegration. Okay, first thing, we're going to duplicate the background layer. So Command J to duplicate it. So this is a new toolbar from this new Photoshop beta, which just crashed. And I just open it again, but never mind, we go back, okay. And the first thing I want to do is just to remove the background. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this remove background toolbar and immediately we have it done. You can see by removing the background, you can see this is just cut out, which is not bad. So I'm going to keep it like that. And I'm going to apply this layer mask. Just gonna hit apply. And I'm going to duplicate this. So I have two layers like this. And I made them invisible. And I'm going back to this background layer, which this time I'm going to use select subject. Okay, so that's selected. And you can see this new generative fill option. We're going to use the toolbar here instead. So you can hit on this icon and just to expand the selection. I want to have a bit more selection here because I want to remove her and replace it with just this background. So I'm going to select about 40 pixels. You can experiment how much pixel you need to cover all these details. I'm just going to choose 40 because I already know the pixel of the photo. So I'm going to hit OK. And then you can use generative fill to remove her from the background. I used it and it didn't work really well for me. So I went back to the content aware fill. Okay. And immediately she is disappeared. Okay, and I just click OK. You can experiment with the generative fill. That's right. To use this generative fill to remove her, but I didn't find a good result. But I'm going to demonstrate to you again. Just going to hit there, and if you leave it blank, it will do what you think is the best. AI will do what you think is the best for you. See if it does a better job now. Oh, it's not bad. It's removed. Okay. Okay, I can do this because when I tried to do with the other image, it gave me someone else's face, which was very strange. Okay, so I'm going to keep it like that. That's a very good result from generative fill. I'm going to use this layer. I'm going to just say this layer 2. I'm coming to this layer. I'm going to use the custom brush we just made, and I'm going to give it a layer mask like this, and I'm going to paint with black brush. Okay, so I'm going to the brush. That's the brush we just created. And then I'm going to brush settings. It's over here. You can also find it over here. And the first thing is I'm going to change the shape dynamic to about here. Scattering, maybe about here. So you can play around with these settings and to see the different results. And I'm going to close it, and I'm going to just to see the effect. Not bad, but I think this is too dense, so I'm going to change the setting. I want the particle to be a little bit more far apart. I'm just hold on Command Z to undo, and then I'm going back to this brush setting, and I'm going to this brush tip shape. And I'm changing the spacing to be a little bit loose. You see this is very dense. This is quite loose. So I'm going to be about here, I think. And I'm going to try again. No, I want it a little bit more loose. So I'm going back. I'm just going back to make it a little bit loose, like that. Okay, let's try again. Just a tiny bit more. You can try this until you're happy with it. I'm going to go for 48%. Okay, so that's not too bad now. Okay, so I'm just going to tap away here. So this is one size, you can see here. I'm going to make it smaller so I have a different type of particle. You can see, even I just brush it like that. Make it super large so you have big particle as well, like that. Okay. Okay, so that's about it. And then I'm going to make this layer invisible. I'm going to turn on this layer, and then I'm going to use filter liquify. Okay, so for this layer, mainly I just want to fill up the background to look like that's part of her. So in order to do it, I need to just fill out this area with her hair. I'm going to do it just like that randomly. Don't have to worry because it's all particle eventually. It's not going to have details. So the details in the particle brush. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Fill it all up. And here, in case we need to use this. Okay, just like that. I'm going to just move it here. And I'm going to click OK. So you can see that's the area I want the particle to fly to. Okay, so I'm going to add a new layer mask. Just hit here. But this time, I'm going to invert it to a black layer mask. I'm going to turn this layer back on so we can see how the particle falls. And then it has to be a white brush, so the particle here will appear. So I'm going to change by pressing X key. And then I'm going to change a different size of the particle. I'm just going to brush over here and make it a bit bigger. A little bit bigger here. And just, a big one as well. So you can see that's the effect. So I'm going to, so that's it. That's the effect. It's like she's disappearing into particles. All right. And you can always go back to adjust the details. Okay. So that's the before, that's after. Okay, so that's just the tutorial today. This is the third part of this 3-video series about how to photograph everyday household objects as a custom brush resource and then go into Photoshop to turn them into custom brush and how to utilize them in your creative portrait. If you want to get these brushes I created, go ahead to portraitcreatives.com. You will find the brushes. I hope you enjoyed this mini series of 3 episodes all about how to create your own custom brushes in Photoshop. Once you know how to create custom brushes, you can use all sorts of objects that you can imagine to create custom brushes for yourself. There are people creating flower, leaves, foliage, and all sorts of like dust and all sorts of different custom brushes, even clouds, smoke, anything you name it, you can create custom brushes for it. If you find value out of it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next one.